Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, joined alongside my good pal Dylan. We're finally back. We got the conference finals to talk about today. We have a couple of new coach hirings, and I assume we'll have more of that in the next coming few weeks here. As a matter of fact, one just broke. Sheldon Keefe got hired by the New Jersey Devils, and maybe later on in the show we'll talk about potential trade targets for the Blackhawks. But where do you want to start first? Do you want to talk about the conference finals, or do we want to talk about Chief Keefe being hired by the New Jersey Devils?
I want to talk about Chief Keef because
Let's hear
that
it.
just happened like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
As we're recording,
Mm-hmm.
um, I feel like that kind of was the destination spot for Sheldon Keefe when you think about it. Um, I know the Devils had a decent head coaching cycle of interviews, but like I never thought like Berube was going to go there. I didn't think they were going to go like out of the box and get someone. I do think it's funny they're picking the coach to try to get they're trying to get the playoff style goals out of their star players. So they get a guy who couldn't do that with his last group. Um, Granted, it could just be it could be the players and not the coach. That very easily could be the case. But I mean, the guy won one playoff series in 5, 6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And
2019 he took over. Late 2019 he took over the Leafs when they fired Babcock
okay,
because
so
he coached a
he had
good game
5 years
five.
without making it. Yeah. But he could learn. Like we always hear it, your second head coaching job, you learn from your first. And this is a deep team. Like this is a deeper team than he ever had in Toronto. Like this double team's gonna be littered with talent, young and old. So
And everywhere too. Like obviously you got Jack Hughes, Nico Heister as your 1-2 punch at center. Maybe not as good as like Matthews and Nylander Marner,
oh
but I mean that
no,
yeah, but that might be debatable with how things went there in Toronto. But you got a way better defense. I mean, Simon Nemec is emerging as one of the best young defense, and freaking Nuke Hughes is a Calder finalist. The goaltending is whatever. But I mean, how many teams right now are kind of having that problem where they just don't have that elite goalie? Like, put a
I
good
mean
team in front of them, and they might be fine.
for sure. And I mean they were right on the door of getting Markstrom. I got to imagine that trade happens this offseason.
Yeah,
Unless the Flames want to be perpetually mid, which is very Flames of them. But
yeah, very on
yeah,
brand for them.
yeah, for sure. Did they say how long he's going to coach, or is it just that he
Or
got
4 years,
hired?
I think I saw.
Let's see if he makes it all 4 years. That'd be very interesting.
How many coaches have made it through four? You know what? I already have this pulled up. I was looking earlier at the longest tenured coaches in the NHL, and it is hilarious to look at. So far, like far way longer than everyone else. John Cooper has been with the Tampa Bay Lightning since March 25th of 2013. And second longest is Mike Sullivan, December 12th, 2015. Jared Bednar has been there since August 25th, 2016. Rod Brendamore, who just re-signed with the Hurricanes, has been there since May 8th, 2018. Then we got a 4-year gap. Marty St. Louis was hired by the Habs in 2022. So just a little over 2 calendar years ago, St. Louis was hired, and he's the sixth longest tenured coach in the NHL. And then in about like a span of a couple weeks in June and early July of 2022, if I'm counting right, 7 head coaches were hired. First one was Bruce Cassidy, then John Tortorella, Pete DeBoer, Paul Maurice, Luke Richardson, who's already
Yep, I
in.
was like, I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, yeah. Luke Richardson's already in the top 10 of longest tenured coaches in the NHL. Derek Lalonde was hired right afterwards, and then Jim Montgomery hired by the Bruins, and then little bit of a gap. Rick Tocchet was the only coach that was hired in season in the 2022-2023 season. And then
Well, Jay
last kind of
Woodcroft, but we're not going to
that
talk
is
about that.
true. I'm just looking at
I know
the
what you
list.
mean,
But
like
yeah,
people who are still
yeah,
there. My
yeah,
bad.
yeah. No, but that is true. Um, Capitals hired Spencer Carberry May 30th last year. Andrew Burnett, Predators hired him May 31st last year, and then Greg Cronin to the Ducks. I honestly forgot he was hired by the Ducks. Ryan Husko, what could have been Blackhawks head coach legend, got hired with the Flames. Pierre Laviolette, and then yeah, just a bunch. Jesus Christ, just a bunch over the year. I don't want to go too long with this, but there's still 4 teams that don't have a head coach. San Jose is still looking for one. Seattle, Winnipeg, and well, actually, no, that's 3 now because the Devils just hired Keefe. But yeah, there's still 3 teams. Uh, fucking the Senators hiring Travis Green. LOL. Sabres hiring Lindy Ruff. I don't know about that, but I guess we'll see how that works out. Maybe nostalgia will pay off for once. Um, Jim Hiller, I believe, got the interim tag removed with the Island with not the Islanders, the Kings. I think Patrick Waugh handling the Islanders, and I think the same thing for the Blues is that they're removing the interim tag on Bannister. It's just crazy the amount of turnover, just even in the like last few months and like the last couple years. It's like all but I think 4 head coaches. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it really is insane, and I'm curious to see what the other ones fill out as because I think Seattle and San Jose can be very enticing spots depending on who you talk to. And
I would think especially Seattle, just because
mhm.
like they're not an amazing team, but they still have a good up and coming team.
Agreed, and that's
Like
why I
I
feel like
think
they'd be. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say like I think Jay Woodcroft would be perfect for the Kraken.
Yeah, but he's too busy doing Elixir ads.
Yeah, that's right. Man, he was coaching in the second round last year, and then this is where he is now. Um, San Jose
What not
Sharks. I
wanting
don't
what
even.
Connor McDavid does to a motherfucker. Sharks apparently want Colleton. That's a rumor.
That is so fun, but I feel with Colleton, like the Blackhawks needed him to win. I feel if you just let him be the head coach while they're rebuilding and let him work with the young players, I honestly don't think that would be the worst option. Or am I wrong? Let's hear it.
No, I like in my head the way you just said that. It's like you just let him be mid for you, and then it's fine. Like I don't know. I mean, the players did respect him. I'll give him that. Like Taves has come out and said that multiple times. Um,
I just think he was in over his head. Like, there's
oh,
no
100% he
expectations
was in
in
over his
San
head. And he
Jose.
should have been he
Yeah,
shouldn't have been the guy to replace Quindle, that's for sure.
no.
Because that's already big enough shoes to fill in the first place. And
Mm-hmm.
then that being your first head coaching gig. Yeah. There's odds were stacked against him, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. In a way, it's kind of similar to how the Leafs handled things with Mike Babcock. Just like I think Mike Babcock as a head coach is overrated, but like he still was in the top tier of NHL head coaches for a long time, and then they fired him. I think a month or so into the season, and then Sheldon Keefe is expected, to turn everything around. Is just kind of like he's kind of in over his head right now, and with COVID and everything, I don't think he was ever fully given the chance till maybe like a couple years ago to get to like figure out what his team is. And he clearly knew what the problems were in Toronto. It's just that I think the players kind of tune them out. And again, we can never know what's happening in a locker room, but I think body language we can always read, and that plays a big part. And just the players there just didn't look like they're having fun. They didn't take pride in their game, and I think that's a good way to lead into Craig Berube. Unless you got any other notes on Sheldon Keefe being with the Devils.
Oh, that's about it. Interested to see how it goes. As for Berube, let's see if that works. I don't think it's a whole different coaching style, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
Yeah.
coming from a team where he didn't have the star talent that this team does. So that could benefit them. But also, I don't think Craig Berube has had a defense that's this skittish
Mm-mm.
and thin in terms of depth. Like you look at St. Louis, they usually had 4 or 5 guys that you could put out for at least 20 minutes, and I think the Leafs maybe have 2 right now. So
Yeah.
it's probably Riley and McCabe, and then the rest it gets
Yep.
questionable. Like I guess maybe you throw Benoit in there, but like, dude, come on. Like obviously that's very easy to overhaul when you have the rumors that the Leafs have on the trade market right now. But
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be interesting to see how he takes his mold on the team, how he sets the lines up in particular. It'll be curious to see what he does with Tavares if he's still on the team, if he's center or a winger. And I'll be honest, like whatever his coaching style is going to be, that'll dictate how they go out about in free agency, honestly. So
Mm-hmm.
depending on if he wants defensemen, they'll restructure the roster to get defensemen. I mean, I think they need a goalie regardless, but this isn't going to be an easy fix. Luckily for Craig Berube, he's basically coming into the NHL version of the Dallas Cowboys, where it's just they're pretty good, They just can't get over the hump. So let's see if he can get him over the hump. I mean, he did it for the Blues. Granted, that was with the Lynn Sanity run from Bennington, who actually didn't have that bad of a year last year
Yeah,
or this
might be
previous
Team
season.
Canada starting goalie.
Yeah, Mister, I let up 6 goals in the third or whatever.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. That is true.
But yeah, I'm curious to see how that works for sure. I think he fits the mold of what Brendan Shanahan wants a little more, which I don't know how people feel about that.
Yeah,
But
no.
hey, if everyone's on the same page, then that's probably for the better because you don't want a power struggle in the front office. We've seen that time and time again with the Blackhawks, and that never worked. So, hey, we'll see how it goes. This is definitely their last effing shot, though, because if Berube can't figure it out,
Then no one
everyone's getting
can.
canned.
They're just first at
Everyone's
this
getting
point.
canned.
Yeah.
Really.
There's still no way they keep Mitch Marner. Like they have to trade him, right? Like they're not going to be like, oh, maybe let's try with a new head coach with the core four, and Mitch Marner will be fun. No, they have to get rid of him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
Yeah,
know how. Sorry, you
I,
go.
no, I think you're 100% right. And, Marner didn't do himself any favors on the way out. And like I said, they're in a position to where Berube is going to want to construct his roster. And what's a better way to go get a goalie and a defenseman than trading Marner? And I know
Mm-hmm.
Nashville's the name that's come up. I got to imagine it's Marner for Saros. And you know what? Let's do a little mock trade right now. Time to go on cap friendly
I already am on
because
cap friendly. Yeah, I'm kind
perfect.
of just looking over the Leafs salary cap and kind of looking at like obviously they got Matthews, Nylander's got his new contract kicking in. Well, so does Matthews, and then
Mm-hmm.
Tavares got 1 year left, and Marner's got 1 year left, and then it's kind of just the rest of the roster there. It's nice with cap friendly now they finally shifted over like the salaries to next season. So I'm not like, oh, they're not a free agent this year. I thought they weren't. It's like, oh, we still got the 23-24 season up. But yeah, a lot of UFAs, a lot of RFAs. Like change is going to be coming regardless, but whether that's in the form of getting rid of Mitch Marner, I guess that's remain to see. But I think they have to.
I agree. And, I think it's funny that Nashville's the river team because I just look at this cap situation and I look at what Nashville would have to offer. And I don't think Toronto's going to want a committee of pieces for Marner. I think they're going to want a legit piece. And I don't know if Saros is
Mm-hmm.
a big enough piece to have him be the center point of a trade.
I mean, the
And if
thought of
it's got,
Saros and Wool as your tandem in net,
oh,
that is pretty
disgusting.
good. Yeah.
Disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you an unbelievable amount of depth. But
Mm-hmm.
call me crazy, but and he's 33, so this would be fucking wild of a trade. But like you could do a Yossi for Marner trade. I don't know
That
why
would be
either
Nutters
team would do
Butters.
it. I don't know why either team would do it, but I mean I know why the Leafs would do it. It'd be the number one defenseman by a country mile. But
Mm-hmm.
Yossi's still really good. And if Nashville's legitimately interested in getting the top line forward, why not? I think the
Why not?
teams that are going to make a little more sense. Columbus goes after Marner again. That'd be kind of funny.
Hey, like, do you
But
do like a Euro check for Marner kind of swap? Or like
yep,
Columbus would obviously have to have more, but I mean, there's worse trade partners out there.
for sure. And then oh, like Arizona, like Utah could be interesting now because like they'll spend to the ceiling. They have a plethora of picks and whatnot. Like, what are they picking this year? Sixth or seventh?
Yeah, pretty high pick.
So who's to say you don't trade seventh overall? Lawson Krause. Because I don't think they're, or probably Nick Schmaltz, honestly. That's probably who you trade on.
Ooh, what about like Nick Schmaltz and like the 6th or 7th overall pick and whatever, and like I don't know prospect.
It, dude, you get cap space too.
Mm-hmm.
If you could take one of their depth defensemen potentially, I mean, granted, all of their defensemen are up for contract. So,
Yeah,
God, Arizona's they're such a tire fire.
they don't even exist anymore. They are the Utah HC now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's really going to come down to what the Leafs want because I have to imagine they want a defenseman, and you just got to find a team that's willing to actually give you that defenseman. Or you
Mm-hmm.
get creative and you trade Marner for assets and then go sign a defenseman like Pesci or Montour or someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's the defenseman they want.
No, I think they kind
Seth
of
Jones. Seth
funny.
Jones
I was
makes
gonna
too much
say I think
sense.
they
If
kind
Seth
of
Jones
want.
was Canadian,
Yeah.
this would be so easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if they're gonna trade for defenseman, it's gonna be a Seth Jones kind of defenseman, a bigger right-handed shot defenseman who can eat minutes, and like
And those don't
that
grow on
is Seth
trees.
Jones. But I don't think the Blackhawks want to make that trade. I doubt that Seth Jones would want to go to Toronto. So
Seattle could be an interesting one too. They have a
Seattle is
lot
a
of
good one.
depth pieces to make that work.
Yeah,
Um, like you could get an Alexiak, you could get be really funny if they got McCann again. I'd laugh my ass off at that. Um,
that's one of the few moves that Dubas made. I'm like, what are you doing? You acquired him, and now you're not even going to protect him. And look what he's done in Seattle. That's yeah.
Kyle's stupidest, to be honest.
Kyle,
Um,
dumbass, more like it.
there it is. But like, I don't know, like Alexiak, and then you get a guy like a Bjorkstrand, get a first from Seattle, which was like in the teens. That could work. But also, like, is that what the Leafs want? Like, I don't know. This is what makes a Marner trade so difficult. Like, it's got to be a Matthew Tkachuk like trade, and that trade no one thought was going to be that trade until it happened. So I don't know which team wants Marner the most. That's really what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, and he's got the no movement clause, so he's got a green light on whether or not
Idiots.
he wants to go to
Jesus.
that city or not.
So glad they had that power struggle after winning a playoff round. That shit cracked me up. Oh my god. Oh, because you wanted to be the president. I really don't care. I really don't care. You guys handicapped your entire team and screwed your GM over in the process.
Yeah, it really is like what the Blackhawks went through with Quenneville, Bowman, and McDonough, except without, the winning 3 Stanley Cups or even getting deep in the playoffs. It's like finally won a playoff series. Things felt like they were on the way up, and then they just pissed away all that goodwill. Like if they took the Panthers to 7 games and like everything was close, like I feel it would be different. But it's like you won a round, okay, then what? You only won 1 game past that, and then of course another first round exit. It's just and they haven't done anything to change that. So I mean, I don't mind Craig Berube being the head coach there. Like the buzzword I think around there is accountability. And like I'm looking at their team. Like what players do I think are gonna can thrive in Toronto? I still think it's Austin Matthews, and you don't want to make excuses. Like he was injured, but same with William Nylander. I think he's him. I think he can stay in Toronto and thrive in the spotlight. Um, Mitch Marner, no, like you again, you gotta trade him. You gotta exhaust every possible option that you can, and you're never gonna win a Mitch Marner trade. Like at the end of the day, if you can get a top 4 right-handed shot defenseman and like maybe I don't know, maybe another forward or a prospect or draft pick, and then free up cap space and get more pieces in free agency or re-sign someone like Max Domi or Tyler Bertuzzi, like that's probably the way to go. And I'm looking at their defense. Riley and McCabe are probably their 2 defensemen that I'm comfortable with playing in the top 4. Um, Timothy Liljegren, I don't know if he's staying. TJ Brody's probably gone. This is an interesting one. Joel Edmondson, I think, could stay with Toronto because he's really the perfect guy to have on your blue line in a playoff series. And I mean, he was there with St. Louis with Craig Berube, so I feel there could be something worked out there. Um, Goaltending, I think Joseph Wall could be that guy. I don't know if he's like a 50, 60 game a season goalie because he's had some injury issues, but like that's a guy you can play 40 games and then get another goalie in there and be just fine. So with the Leafs, I've said this about them, but it's they don't look like they have pride when playing for the Maple Leafs. Like they seem so complacent. It's like, oh, we're gonna, be back here another year. But then when they play, like it just doesn't look like they have any fun. Like it just feels like they don't take any pride in their game. And the thing with Toronto sports is like the 2019 Raptors are gonna be remembered forever as a team that got it done. And the Blue Jays, like in 2015, 16, like they didn't even get to the World Series, and they're remembered as legends because they got to the ALCS and they had some crazy offenses. And like the bar isn't even to win a championship; it's like just to go far, like go to a conference final and like not go out in 5 games and continually lose in the first round. But I mean, it's the Maple Leafs we're talking about here, so Yeah, they're going to be a team to watch this offseason. Like we even hear guys like Frank Saravalli. I can't remember if Saravalli or Freeman said, but like it's a single digit % chance that Marner's back on the team. I just don't see any possible avenue where you keep him and run it back. But I think there are guys that can thrive in Toronto, but Mitch Marner, like he clearly fucking hates it there. And really, as soon as he signed that contract, his agent coming on being like, that's a good contract, or whatever the fuck it was, like you signed your death warrant there that you were never going to stay in Toronto and live up to that contract. So yeah, that's
Go
my
hit the
rant on the
gritty in
Maple Leafs.
Utah.
Go hit the gritty. The Mormons will love it there. Dum 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 dum.
And he's going to be the player that succeeds wherever he gets traded to, because it's finally going to wake him up that he has to actually, not be a little effing child. And maybe it takes not being in a heavy media market, but also, I don't know, grow up. You're making $11 million a year.
Yeah, it's really Phil Kessel, except I don't think Phil Kessel acted like a bit like
Phil Kessel never did this, though.
Yeah.
They just didn't like it for some reason.
Yeah.
And then he won back-to-back cups.
Yeah, like I have no doubt in my mind Mitch Marner could go to another like this is a guy that could be like I think can compete for an Art Ross title. Like he's a very good defensive winger. He's been
top 5 in scoring like 3 years in his career. We know he's capable of this.
But he just doesn't get it done in the playoffs. And I think if he goes to a team that isn't the centerpiece and doesn't have the baggage of what he had Toronto, like I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens.
I would like the thing is with Mitch Marner, like it's funny because we've kind of jokingly talked about Jones for Marner 1-for-1, but I think the only thing for me with Marner is like the contract afterwards. Like I don't think he's worth $11 million, and then again, I still don't think he really is. I think he's worth more like $8-9 million, but he's gonna want way more than what he wanted this year, and I just don't think Toronto wants like the Maple Leafs organization doesn't want to go through that again. And who's gonna? Well, there's gonna be a team that gives them that money, but like from the Blackhawks end of thing, I don't know if I'd want to do that. Just yeah.
I'm willing to pay Marner 11 if he makes Bedard a $14 million player. I'm 100% willing to do that. Like I don't think people realize putting that type of playmaker with this type of shot. I don't give a crap what he does in the playoffs. This team needs to win hockey games, and he would help this team win hockey games more than Seth Jones would right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I personally don't think Marner's in the camp to ask for a raise.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah. Like he would instantly make the Blackhawks so much better, so much watch. But that's my thing. Like I don't think he's worth a raise. Like he would I don't think he's worth the money he's making right now. And like if he's going to 12, 13 plus million, I don't think he's worth that at all.
He's going to 13 though. That's like all right. Let's look at this. Hold on one second. Because how are you going to money? No, how are you going to convince anyone that he's worth more than David Pastrnak?
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Like it's just not going to fucking happen. Like so, McKinnon's making 12.6. Matthews is making 13 point whatever. McDavid's making 12.5. Panarin's making 11.6. Sorry, you're not getting paid more than Panarin. Not a fucking chance.
No.
And Pasternak's making 11.25. You're not making more than David Pastrnak. So yeah, in theory, he's not getting a raise. He's not.
No, shouldn't.
Unless he goes to a market that has to overpay. And I'm sorry, I think Chicago's in a position where they need to overpay. And if anything, I don't know. Chicago can give him the years. I don't think they're going to give him the salary.
Yeah.
Like I'd sign Marner for 8 years right now because he'd be there until he's 34, and you get him for the best years of his career. And then he's 34, and you can tell him to F off. Sorry, that's just what we do. Once you become 32 in the hockey world, they take you out back old Yeller style.
Facts. You're like a horse with a broken leg at that point.
Yeah, cut your legs in half. Oh wait, what's that? You lost a step, minus $5 million.
And minus aura. You're never finding a hockey team again.
Jeez. But dude, I would love a good 1-for-1 trade for Marner. That would be, even if it's not Jones, like there's one out there. We just don't know what it is. That's the thing, dude. I can't stress that enough. We don't know what that trade is because Who in their right mind thought Florida was trading for Matthew Tkachuk, let alone trading Huberdeau off a 117-point season and Mackenzie Weegar? No one saw
Yeah.
that coming. No one
Nope.
saw that coming.
Nope.
And that's kind of how I feel this Marner trade is going to be. It's going to hit us out of the effing blue, and we're going to be like, oh, huh, okay. Like it's going to be like LA or someone, and they're going to trade like Fiala or it's going to be like Minnesota, or it's going to be someone like that, like just some random team, and they're going to throw a crazy package at them, and that's what's
LA.
and it's. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say LA would be a good one too because they're kind of another team. It's like they have. This is crazy. The Kings
PLD
have
for Marner. Let's go cancer for cancer, baby.
They're on the same team.
Dude,
But
PLD would so fit in with the fucking Leafs too. Oh my god.
the Blackhawks have won a playoff series more recent than the LA Kings, and I don't think that gets talked about enough. They haven't won a playoff series since they won the Cup in 2014, and 3 years in a row of them losing the Oilers. Like they got to change something too. And
It's
Mitch
called
Marner,
getting an actual goalie.
that is true.
Called
And more
whatever it
defensive help.
costs to get Olmark earlier this year. You should have just done it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like
That's my 2 cents.
Fiala and like maybe one of their centers. Like I don't know if they get rid. I don't think they get rid of
Not
Byfield, but
Byfield.
like a Fiala and Deneau maybe. I don't know.
Oh god. I think it would. All right, now I'm looking at this. Like,
See, we're getting there. We're getting into silly season soon. We're at that point of the
I
playoffs where
fucking
they're.
wish Doughty wasn't making 11 mil. God, Doughty in Toronto would be nuts
I
because
feel
he's
Doughty
actually
would
been
thrive in
good.
Toronto because he's got that kind of
Oh my
personality.
god, dude, he'd have all the swagger that team needs. I don't care
Yeah.
if he's 34.
Like I hated Doughty because like he's just like he has such a fuck you mentality, and that definitely showed when the Blackhawks were playing the Kings. But obviously, I loved him on Team Canada. Like yeah, and the thing is, Drew Doughty is like legitimately good. He's still a top pairing defenseman.
Yeah, I got a funny one.
Let's hear
The Blues, and you trade him Sod and Pareko.
Rose would love that.
Oh my god! Actually, I think Rose might cry. Brandon, they finally won the Brandon Saad trade, guys.
Let's go. Brandon Saad to Toronto, and then Colton Parayko gets to reunite with Joel Edmondson and Craig Berube. Let's go.
Craig Berube.
That's the podcast name. I can't talk. Craig Berube. Yeah.
Craig Berube.
Craig Bublé. Yeah. Brother of Michael.
What about the Capitals? Like, but I don't know what the Caps would give up.
I don't know.
What if they traded John Carlson for Mitch Marner? Oh, although, like, I don't know, man. Get like a Charlie Lindgren. Get a. But I wouldn't want to. If I'm trading Marner, I'm not getting a one-hit wonder. Sorry, like
No.
I need something a little more solidified. I don't know. I'm just spitballing teams at this point. I'm looking around.
Let's keep doing
Anaheim could be fucking interesting because they just have so many prospects. But like,
and they have the second overall pick, don't they? No, third. We have the second overall pick. Fucking idiot.
Oh my god!
Come on,
meme player for meme player. Marner for Zegers, baby. Get excited. Zegers and I don't know. They're not trading
any
Mityukov.
one of their
They're
young
not trading
defensemen there.
Yeah, they're not trading Mityukov or Zellweger. So probably like, oh my god, Radio Gudis. Let's go.
Well, I'm pretty sure Gudis is good though. Good ass.
Yeah.
He's not badass.
Yeah,
he is
Radio
badass
Gudis.
too.
He's good as fuck.
All we hear is Radio Gudis.
Yeah, and then the Leafs can do a full 180 on how they feel about that player because he'll be on their team. Or it could be for John Gibson, and I can laugh my fucking ass off. Please.
John Gibson is not getting traded. Like he's it feels like he's been in trade rumors for the past few years now, and it hasn't.
Yeah, he's in trade rumors until he becomes good again.
Yeah,
which is never going to happen.
No,
because let's
see.
See. Yeah, last time he had anything above a 904 was 2018-19. All right.
Before COVID times.
Dominic Kahuna, 35 points that year.
Dominic Kubalik, or no, that would have been the next year. Like he was up for a Calder.
Dominic Kahuna.
Yeah, the other Dominic K, but that was a year later.
Yeah.
It's funny because I feel if the Rangers had another, like if they blew that series against Carolina, I feel there could have been a world where they got like, okay, not Adam Fox, but like a Braden Schneider maybe, and like one of their forwards, like a laugh. I don't know.
Who, the Leafs?
Yeah, the Leafs, and then Marner would go to the Rangers.
God, imagine you get Chris Kreider. It's never gonna happen.
Chris
All
Kreider would
those
be,
years, Chris Kreider was on the trade block. Shame on all of you.
yeah,
Ugh. I would have paid
best.
whatever it costs. Get
Yeah,
Kreider on the Hawks at some point.
Kreider
Never.
is him, and I still
He's
think
been in
back
for a
to.
decade, bro.
Mhm.
That's the crazy part. Oh man.
I still think they should have made the trade for Brandon Hagel. Brandon Hagel would have been. I mean, Brandon Hagel would be perfect
Yup.
for any team, but
And then we'd have Matt Nyes with Bedard. It'd be a lot of fun.
true. But Matthew Nyes has been good for the Leafs, and he will be very good for the Leafs because he finally figured out, oh, I'm 6'3" and I can just push people around and get the puck to the net.
Yeah, but if you're telling me if you're telling me Brandon Hagel and Marc Andre Fleury wouldn't make the Leafs at least a tad better, you're lying to yourself.
They probably beat. I think it was the Lightning that year, and who the hell else knows what happens after that?
Yeah, Hagel coming off a 75-point year playing with Matthews and Nylander. Good fucking lord. Oh
Yeah,
my god. Like we think that line with Kucherov and points good. Oh baby. Oh man. Just scratching the surface. Speaking of which,
yeah.
we need to talk about the Lightning because what the hell are they doing? They're pulling the
They are
Blackhawks.
in their. They are. I was gonna say they're in their Blackhawks era. They're getting the band back together, but all in all, like Ryan McDonough is still a very good, capable top four defenseman, and in a vacuum, it's a good move to get him back. But he's making. I still think he has a couple years left at 6.75, and I don't know what what the exact number is, but I don't know how the hell they have any cap space and how the hell they're going to re-sign Steven Stamkos.
So we're about to analyze this right now. They have $5 million in cap space. They have to sign
Right
4
now,
forwards and a defenseman. Yeah, right now. And I don't know how they do it. Like, yeah, you got to think. Like, you just signed these guys to 8-year deals, but like, I gotta think like Sorelli's on the block. Janot.
oh my
Why
god,
do
if they put
Janot and Sherry have trade protection? What the fuck are we doing?
because Connor Sherry is elite in his own right, but for real, if Sorelli is on the trade block, the Blackhawks have to jump all over it.
Dude,
Are you
pounce on it. Pounce on it.
center core of Bedard, Sorelli, and Dickinson? Like,
Ew. Ew.
yeah,
Like
you could do a
actually
lot
ew.
worse than that. That's for
Dude,
sure.
and Sorelli has 0 trade protection. So like that's the guy who's gonna get
Oh my god,
moved if
that's my new
anyone
thing.
is.
Fuck Nick Ehlers and Martin
Fuck
Necas.
Nick
Let's get
Ehlers, fuck
Anthony
Trevor
Cirelli.
Zegras, fuck Mitch Marner. Give me Anthony goddamn Sorelli.
Dude, 7 years
You could have
left.
pick 20 back. You could have pick 20 back, guys.
For real. 7 years left, 6.25, 26. Trade for him right now. Trade
Real talk, though.
the 17th. Trade the 20th pick. Trade one of your seconds. Trade. I don't care. Like Lucas Wright. Like make this happen.
I think the trade that makes sense is trading him Dickinson half retained, and then some draft picks. As much as it would suck, but like then you lock in your 2C for the next 7 years. He's 26. Like
I would hate to see Dick and your son go, but I mean
I would too. But like if we could get a guy like Sorelli, because like I just don't know like. We don't have a lot of valuable pieces to give the Lightning, let alone a lot of cap valuable pieces anymore. Mm-hmm. I think Dickinson at like 2.1 is well worth it for a contender. And then that kind of replaces Sorelli's role in the team, which is a shutdown third line center. I don't know, man. We already know Davidson loves trading with Brisebois. So
yeah, they do. There is a connection there. Like
for sure.
Oh my god.
I'm very interested to see what the Lightning do, man. Like, obviously, Stamkos could take $1 million and this gets solved, but like, like it's like we're missing the reality here. Like, it's gonna happen, but or they're gonna get another Seabrook LTIR contract. I was literally talking to someone at work about this. Seabrook's contract ends. They're gonna go find someone who's dead, and they're just gonna. How many years does Shea Weber have left?
Go to anyone on Utah because I'm pretty sure like Brian Little might still be there, like Jacob Voracek. I don't know if the contracts are up, but they were last year. I'm pretty sure.
So Robin Leonard's got 1 more year, and he's never playing hockey again.
No,
that's $5 million.
Sucks, man. Like I still don't know what happened with him. I think didn't he have to file bankruptcy or something? He had a financial issue.
I don't know. But
I hope he got a cup ring at least with Vegas.
Is Ryan Ellis ever going to play hockey again?
No, which sucks.
6.25 for 3 years on LTIR. That might be it. You get him. That gives you another 6 million cap. You'll be at 11 then. Get sign Stamkos to the Pavelski deal, and then fill it out with depth. That might be the answer. They're gonna have to do something like that, though. That's the only way I see them keeping everyone and not having to trade a Sorelli or a Chernak or something.
Mm-hmm. Fuck, I would
But
take
honestly,
Chernak.
this is the only year it's tight because I don't imagine Hedman taking more than 7.8 on his next deal. So
No.
they have that to their advantage at least.
That's the thing. I would take Chernak too. Like, just put him with any of that young dude. Vlasic and Chernak. Have fun playing against
Yeah,
that.
that's a nightmare to play against.
Yeah.
Holy. Oh
Dude,
my gosh.
dude.
Like, yeah, try getting the puck in. It's just never gonna happen.
Yeah, and then and when you do, Chernak's gonna play the xylophone on your ribs, like on your spine with a stick.
And then Vlasic's gonna try to fight you.
Yeah.
But
Rocky Mountain defense, baby.
dude, the Lightning are gonna be a fun team to watch these next couple weeks. It's like obviously some like the Hawks are in a position where we'll take Tanner Jeannot or Connor Sheary. I don't give a fuck. Give us a pick.
Yeah.
But also like let's go look at Tampa's picks. They have no first or second round picks the next 2
No,
years.
they got
They don't
nothing,
have
I'm pretty sure.
their first pick this year is a 4th round pick.
From the Oilers.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure they got in the McDonough trade.
Fucking Christ. Like yeah, the Lightning are going to have to really get creative, but that's nothing that Julius Breezewell hasn't done in the past. So
yeah, I was gonna say if there's a guy who can do it, it's him. And yeah, 100%. This is definitely like they got to pay. They're paying the price now for going for it. And I mean, hell, you got 2 back-to-back Stanley Cups, 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals appearances. You can't really ask much better for that, especially in the modern cap era. But yeah, but then at the same time, it's so hard to bet against that core. Like if they just find a way, like if they just keep playing plug and play with the depth and find guys on cheap contracts that can help fill around the main core, they might just be they're fine. Like I don't think they miss the playoffs next year, do you? Because I'm thinking of the Atlantic. Like who besides Florida, like who's gonna take a step? Because I don't know about Toronto. They're kind of stagnant. They might just stay where they are. Buffalo might take a step. Detroit might take, but there's no like guarantees, you know. Montreal and Ottawa are still gonna suck. So I think
that's
Tampa
kind of the
at
beauty
least
of the division, though. When you think about it, like it's wide open. The only team I don't think I could jump is Montreal or Ottawa.
Yeah,
because they got too many holes. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, they're gonna pull some rabbit out of their hat. Like there's with every team that's that's like just exited the playoffs and who I think are in flux right now and have to make decisions. I'm just looking at them and be like, oh, Blackhawks can get this guy, and yeah, oh my god, Anthony Cirelli, I need him to be a Blackhawk right now. I would love that so much.
Me too.
Damn, I didn't think we'd spend that much time on Tampa Bay, but here we are. It's silly season. We're gonna be doing more of that. We're gonna be doing more of the spitballing and going through hypothetical trades. But how about we talk about things that are actually happening right now? As a matter of fact, in only 2 hours, let's go to the conference final previews. Do you want to talk about Florida, New York first, or Edmonton, Dallas first?
Let's do Florida, New York first. That's the game tonight, anyway.
That is true. What do you got?
It's gonna be a fucking bloodbath. Like, it's the 2019 Free Agency Cup because
right.
Florida tried to get both of them. They got one of them. They got Bobrovsky. The Rangers got Panarin, and both teams kind of haven't looked back ever since. I think Florida's made the playoffs every year since they've gotten Bob. Rangers have made it every year except one with Panarin, I want to say. But even then, like, doesn't matter.
I think that was the COVID short, like the 2020 bubble. Like I think they made it every year since, though.
Yeah, and yeah, man, they're in an interesting spot. Like I think these teams stack up surprisingly well offensively. I think the Rangers have. I think the Rangers have the advantage in defense and goaltending straight up.
Yeah.
They don't have a defenseman like Adam Fox. Gustav Forsling, I think, is the closest thing they have to a shutdown defenseman on that team. Very good, very good. But I don't know. I just like the committee of the Rangers D-men a lot more. The committee, like as much as we give him crap, I'd rather have a Truba on my team than a Montour at times. And that's nothing against Montour. It's just he's more of an offensively inclined defenseman. And the Rangers have a lot of guys. Like, it's kind of hard to beat a top four of Lindgren, Fox, Miller,
It's
Truba.
so
That's
good,
just
man.
really good. And then
Miller
they got
would,
Schneider on the third pair. Like, it's a
and
solid
the Gus
decor.
Bussy, let's go.
The best defenseman on the team. That's what the
For
analytics
real.
tell me, at least.
Better than
But
forging another former Blackhawks defenseman.
I think the key to this series is going to be how the centers play. Because as of right now, Trocheck's super hot. Sam Reinhart's probably the best center in the playoffs, not named Connor McDavid. You got the depth of guys like Verhaeghe and Barkov and Sam Bennett and Lundell. Like, the fact that Lundell's an afterthought in the Panthers is a problem. Keetel's coming back for the Rangers, so that gives them even more depth down the middle. Like, I don't see a world where this goes less than 6 games. I don't know, unless something crazy happens and one of the goalies just locks in. Like, obviously, if Igor does the shit he did in the first round, yeah, it might go 5. If Bobrovsky does the crap he did last year, yeah, it might go 5. But I don't know, man. I think these teams are just going to get their chances, and it's going to be a fucking bloodbath. Like, I don't see how I have this going 7. Oh, man.
I agree with you there. I think it could go either way, but I think I gotta stick with the Panthers because they were my pick to win the cup. And yeah, I agree with you that the Rangers do have the advantage in goaltending. I wouldn't say by much, and I mean Shesterkin's amazing, but Bobrovsky has been able to lock in. And yeah, the defense, the Rangers have a huge advantage, as you said. Like, I mean, Miller and Truba or Schneider, whoever they're playing with him, like that would be a first pairing on most teams. But then the forward core with Florida, like so many good. Like we didn't even Barkov, like he's been him these playoffs. Like Kachuk is always him. Same with Verhaeghe. I mean, like you go down the list. There's so many names like Reinhardt, like Bennett. Yeah, Lundell. Like the list just goes on. And I think that's where they have the Rangers beat. But like also Vincent Trocheck's really stepped up. I mean, Panarin's Panarin, same with Kreider, but your mic is muted.
Trocheck's been their best center, easily.
Yeah. Former
Um,
Panther, by the
and
way.
like Zibanejad's finally starting to pick it up, which I think is huge because like he's the key in the series. If Zibanejad's
Mhm.
not going, they're not going to win this series because he allows them to have that top 6. That's just so dynamic. Because when you split him and Panarin up and Kreider up, it gives you an unbelievable amount of depth. It's kind of how the Panthers work with Kachuk and Barkov, honestly. So
Man, now that I'm kind of thinking of it, like I could see the Rangers, but I gotta stick with the Panthers in
I
7.
got
It
I got
has to
Rangers
go
in
7.
7.
We do
I,
have to, it has to go 7. There's no way it doesn't.
agreed. I think I got it, Rangers in 7. I think this is the year they finally get over the hump and get to the Cup final. It's going to be tough though. We'll know after this game 1 kind of how this series is going to go. But it's such a cliche thing. But like game 3 will be the pivotal one because I can see the series being, if it's 2-0 one way or the other. Game 3, regardless, is going to be the most pivotal game in the series, I think, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously, game 1 you want to start off strong, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's the first game in Florida. It's in New York because they're the President's
It's in
Trophy
the, yeah,
winners.
because the Rangers won the President's Trophy, so
I forgot about that. Yep.
I did
But
too. I keep thinking Dallas had won it, but no, it's the Rangers.
yeah, Dallas was close. I think they were 2 points
Mhm.
off this year. But yeah, I got Rangers in 7. So you got Panthers in 7.
Yeah. Yeah, the way man, I thought it was going 7 games against Carolina, but the way they responded in that third period, holy smokes. Yeah. And the Panthers kind of just taking care of the Lightning, and they were the better team against Boston. Like I don't think there was a worry for me there to take them. So yeah. I'll still stick Florida, but yeah, I could just as easily see the Rangers. But I think we're all winners here because it's going to be I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I think those teams are going to just tear each other apart. And for them,
Mm-hmm.
on to the
Not
next
going to be a pretty
series.
series.
Yeah, on the next series, Edmonton versus Dallas. Wasn't last night, but on Monday nights, the Oilers beat the Canucks in 7 games. I know where you're going because you've had the Stars since the beginning of the year, which I mean, you can't go wrong. That team is just so deep. Like there's no flaws with that team, is there? There isn't.
Shout out Matt Duchene beating his old team in overtime too.
For
Sending them
yeah,
home.
did you see that fucking tweet where it's like, yeah, I think it was like Miles Wood and a bunch of other guys they signed. They have more playoff
Hold
games played than Matt Duchene as an Avalanche. I'm like, cope.
Cope. Watch
Yeah.
this. Watch this drive.
Watch this drive. Yeah, beat you in double overtime. After a goal was disallowed, I'm pretty sure I slept through that game like I was asleep before that game even ended. So, but yeah, I goaltending Jake Onger. That was kind of like my thing of like, oh, he's not that great, but yeah, he's definitely locked in. He might be as
Light
good as
years better than
Tuukka,
Skinner
so.
and Pickard. That's for fucking
Yeah,
sure.
no kidding. I mean,
Like if
anyone
Ottinger's off his game, this series is gonna be up for grabs, 100%. But if Ottinger's
Mhm.
even slightly on his game, you better fucking hope McDavid shows up. That's all I'm gonna say. Like they're gonna need more of those Yanmark goals. They're gonna need more of Connor Brown actually getting offense. Like this is, I don't know, man. This is such a pivotal series for the Oilers.
Mhm.
It's so ironic because the Stars have been here now, I think 4 times, right?
Here
And
2020, they were here
they're
last
not the team with
year.
pressure.
Yeah.
They're not, and they should be. But it's the Oilers
Hmm.
because you have to fucking win. Because if you don't, I'm sorry. If they get swept again in the conference final, let alone lose again, what the hell is the St. Drysdale's going to do? Like they have to win the cup
Go to
this year.
Chicago, obviously, but
Well, yeah,
yeah.
like it's such a pivotal playoff because Drysdale's up for an extension. If he says I don't want to extend, you got to completely redirect how you do this team because you can't let Drysdale walk for nothing. Dude, they're going to get put in a real tough pickle if they lose bad and they piss off their stars again. And the easiest way to solve that is just fucking dominate if you're the stars, or the star players, obviously. But Edmonton just doesn't have the depth Dallas has, and Dallas has almost good enough star power to talent or top it. Like Haskins better than any defenseman on the Oilers. Um,
Mm,
yeah, he's better than
yeah,
Bouchard.
I would. Bouchard is him. Like I don't know. We
Yeah,
can
but
debate whether.
Haskins
Yeah.
light years better than Bouchard. There's levels to this shit. Bouchard's good offensively. I'll give him that, but I don't know, man. If I'm picking defenseman to start a team with, Haskins in my top 3 probably right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just for what he does offensively and defensively. He is one of the clutchest playoff performers I've ever seen from a defenseman, and that doesn't get talked about enough. I think with Rope Hintz is healthy, that's going to be a key because you need him down the middle of the series. You're going to need guys like Pavelski going. You're going to need the depth of like Mason Marchment, Logan Stankoven, Wyatt Johnston taking another step would be great. But
Unreal, man. Like
I got Stars in 6. I think the
yeah.
depth is going to be too much for the Oilers, unless McDavid and Draisaitl go crazy, which is always a possibility. It's never a doubt that they could go 3 points a game each and just fucking manhandle them. But I don't know, man. I think Dallas is just too much to handle right now. Obviously, these 2 East teams, I think, could give them the 2 East teams are going to be the toughest sets Dallas will have by far, besides Vegas. But I don't know, man. Dallas is so battle tested. You can argue the Oilers are too, but I can't bet against them. I can't bet against Dallas
No.
after they've come this far, beaten the last 2 Cup champions on the way to the conference final. Like it's not hard or it's not easy. That's for sure. What do you think?
I do think Dallas in 6. Like I would let even just for the Oilers to get to a cup final, that would be so cool. And there's a scenario where that could happen, but I think so much has to go right for the Oilers for that to happen, and then so much wrong for like there's no margin of error for the Oilers right now. Like the goaltending is better, the defense is better, and like the forwards, like yeah, they don't have McDavid or Draisaitl, but they have the depth and like their top end guys like a Jason Robinson or like only like a step behind him. So I yeah, the Oilers have the top end. Like Draisaitl is just like he's a
Draisaitel's
different
crack, dude.
he's a different animal. Like I think he has a point in every game. Evan Bouchard is like he's Brent Seabrook.
Yep.
He's Brent Seabrook level clutch. He had I think the only goal in I think it was game 4 against LA, had the game over, like they had the overtime winner in game 2 against Vancouver, had the goal with like 30 seconds left, and then like yeah, he shows up. The McDavid, I still like it's crazy how good of it, like how like good he is that we hold him to such a high standard. Like I still think there's more to give there. Like not that he's been bad, but like he looked more mortal than he usually did in that Vancouver series. I think there was 2 or 3 games where he was completely held off the score sheet. Like if there's a series for him just to go to fuck off, where like if it goes 6 or 7 games and he gets 15 points, this is the time. Like Ryan Nugent Hopkins has been pretty good. Like I'm surprised he was point per game. Zach Hyman is, but then who else is going to step up? I haven't seen, like it hasn't been consistent enough. Like if there's one guy who's going to do it though, Dylan Holloway. They need to give him more of a chance because who the hell else is going to do it? Like just put him in
He
your
had some
top
sick
6.
goals last series.
Mm-hmm. And like he was noticeable, but yeah, I just 6 games Dallas. I do think the Warriors finally won a conference final game, but man, if they do go in like 4 or 5, there's gonna be some serious discussions like on whether Draisaitl and
Has
McDavid
to
are gonna
be.
stay here long term. Like if it's 6, 7 games and like every game was 1 goal, like that, I think that's different. But yeah, if it's 4 or 5 games, that's gonna be a discussion that's gonna be had to be had this offseason.
100%. I agree. That's why the pressure's on them and not Dallas. Straight up.
It's
And
wrong that
Dallas
you
has their core locked up. So it's like even if they don't win this year, they'll be back and it'll be back next year.
yeah,
I
that's the
can't say the same for the Oilers.
no. It's wrong to say house money with Dallas right now, but it kind of is.
They're just living up to expectations. That's straight up what it is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very rare you have a team like a lot of times in the playoffs we overhype teams, but when it comes to the Stars and the Panthers and the Rangers, they're just straight up living up to the hype of being the best
Mm-hmm.
teams in the NHL, which is good for the league. I know everyone likes a good upset here and there, but it's a lot better if your best teams make it farther. Let's just put it that way.
I think it's a good mix to like every once in a while have that underdog that's like the
Of
8th seed
course.
that barely gets in, squeak to the file. But no, like I think more often you want the teams that are good to be at the final dance, and we're getting that this year. Like these
Oh,
are, I
it's
think,
4 of the best teams you could ask for in the
mm-hmm.
Final Four.
Yeah,
Probably the 4 teams you probably would want when you were looking at
mm-hmm.
this bracket back when we
Yeah,
were. Because, like, I mean, besides, it probably would be the Edmonton or Vancouver you'd want in the Final Four. And
mm-hmm.
then Dallas is the one that I thought would come out, in Denver, Colorado, or Vegas for that matter. Central was stacked. Winnipeg, too. They kind of fell off. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's the best left. And can't help but be happy as a fan watching, that's for sure.
I lost my train of thought, but then I picked it up again. I'm always someone who loves to see new Stanley Cup champ. Like if the Blackhawks aren't winning every other year, like I want to see new champions as much as possible. No, none of the teams that are in the Final Four have won a cup this century. Well, the Panthers have never won at all. Rangers haven't won since 94. It's been 30 years. Oilers haven't won since 1990. That's 34 years now. And then Dallas hasn't won since 99. So none of these teams have won a cup in my lifetime. So that's also another cool thing.
Very cool. Yeah. We're going to see teams that have just never been in this situation finally get a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think there is very much a potential for the Oilers and Stars to go 7 as well. But yeah, like Panthers and Rangers, like I'm expecting that to be a full blowout. I think for the Oilers, like it sounds like super like clear, like duh, no, really, like they need to win game 1. You have to and if, like you have to split at least one of the games on the road. You cannot go down 2-0, or else it's going to be another 4 or 5 games series.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And that's kind of been the Oilers' Achilles heel that they can't win game 1. Yeah, you got if there's a time to do it, it's now.
For sure. You can't get behind against Dallas. That's for sure.
Nope.
And both teams are accustomed to choking, so this should be fun.
Yeah, the Dallas. It's crazy because I felt I bring this up a lot, but like they're the rare team that not only is built to win now, but built to win for the future. Like they still like Logan Stankoven and Wyatt Johnson aren't even at the peak of their powers, and look what they've been doing. Like Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin, who were supposed to be the franchise guys for them, like they're an afterthought. Like they're third liners. I want to look at the Stars lineups and how they're configured right now because I'm pretty sure Hintz has been injured, but like they're
Top
still.
line Wyatt Johnson. Tyler Sagan's been really good this postseason.
Mhm.
They're just so fucking deep, dude. It's not fair. Roddick Fox is an extra on that team. That's crazy.
Oh my god, yeah. They're so good, dude. Yeah, and then Thomas Harley, Miro Haskin, like
Chris
second
Tanev,
pairing
like
Lindell,
holy.
Chris Tanev. I really hope the Blackhawks sign Chris Tanev because I saw, I think Dmitry Filipovich saying that like he like held Jack Eichel's line completely in check, held Nathan McKinney completely in check, and he's probably gonna either play McDavid or Draisaitl. And
Lock
I'm
him
pretty
down.
sure I saw like when Draisaitl's been on the ice, like the Oilers have scored 32 goals in like 250 minutes. So
Not a real player. It's insane.
yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah, I just hope we get 6-7 game series, and even when we get the Stanley Cup final, I've said this since we started the podcast. I want a Stanley Cup final that goes 7 games where every game is decided by like 1 goal, and I want a game 7 Stanley Cup final overtime. That's what I want.
One
Will
day
this be the year? We'll find out.
on the next episode.
I don't know if you got anything else to add, or we can get into the Twitter questions, or I should say Twitter question because we only got one from Jacob.
That's about it for me. Let's get the Jacob Twitter questions.
All right. 3 crazy, totally out there, never going to happen things you'd love to see happen this off season. NHL, but can be for any sport, really.
All right, I guess we'll each rotate giving one.
Sure.
Do you want to
I
lead
can't even
off?
think of one off the
I
dome.
got
You can
mine.
go, yeah.
So, kind of leads into what we were just talking about. If the Oilers lose, I think Connor McDavid's going to request a trade. This will be the summer. Because Draisaitl was going to say he's not extending.
I was gonna say I feel Draisaitl is more likely to request a trade than McDavid. Like it would be so fucking fun. Like it would be crazy to see it, but yeah, still yeah.
That would be the first one I'm going to say. If we're going to go crazy, never going to happen things, and yeah, McDavid requesting a trade.
I can't really think of anything to be honest. That's a very good one. It's not. I don't think it's that hot of a take to be like Mitch Marner to Utah. I'm just trying to think. What could? I can't think of one. Like Pierre-Luc Dubois maybe being traded again. I don't know.
There we go. There we go. I like that. Fuck yeah.
I'm spitballing right now. I was looking at this contract on the Carolina Hurricanes. I think the Hurricanes buy out Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
Oh, that's a crazy one, actually. Because, like, what has he got? 7 years left on that contract?
Yeah, like 6 or 7 years at like almost $5 million.
I'd take Kotkaniemi on the Hawks in a heartbeat. Just like 7 years is a lot.
And like at almost $5 million, and I'm pretty sure his career high in points is like 45, if that. Yeah, I think
he's a very good third liner. That's the way I would describe
that's all
him.
He is.
And that's a luxury that Carolina can't really afford anymore.
Nope.
Especially with this Jarvis contract coming up, which is not going to be cheap unless you bridge him. And if you bridge him, that's at your own risk. We said this with Bouchard. We said this with Miller. Like, you're going to pay eventually. So, yeah, that would be another one. Let me think.
Yeah, I'm just strictly thinking NHL here right now. Like,
I know. I'm trying to think of like a crazy one, like one that maybe isn't like on the precipice. Huh. Okay. I think we're finally going to. Okay, wait. What's the top 5 this year? I need to look at this. What's the NHL top 5 this year?
Oh, are you going to say a top 5 pick gets traded?
Yep. I think it's going to be
a good one.
Year.
Yeah.
And it's going to be lame. It's probably going to be Montreal, if anyone. But I don't know, man. Like, this is a draft where after 1, it gets very selective on who's your guy and who's not your guy, I think. Especially after 3. 3, it's going to be the cutoff. So I think 4 or 5 could be a very eligible spot to get traded. Plus, it's 2 teams in Columbus and Montreal who do have a ton of prospects already, so they could probably use some roster players.
I could even see a reality where Anaheim potentially trades third because they have so many freaking prospects. Like,
I don't think the top 2 trade Chicago and San Jose.
No, no.
Once it gets to Anaheim, it is up for grabs. I think for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be another hot take because I don't think it happens, but like I wouldn't be shocked, especially in the top 7. top 7, definitely something's getting traded. I could so see Ottawa trading pick 7 again.
Again, yeah.
Utah, I could see trading pick 6, 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's another hot take I'm gonna throw out there.
Yeah, it's not crazy to think, but I do think who's the owner? Ryan Smith with Utah. I think he's looking to make a big splash. I think Utah does do something, whether that's Mitch Marner or trading their pick for maybe Mitch Marner or another big name. I think they're gonna do something Nutter Butters there in Utah in Salt Lake City. I'm going through all the teams in my head. I'm going division by division. I'm like, okay, what player could request a trade? What player are we not thinking about that could potentially be traded? And then nothing's coming to mind right now.
I got my third one.
Let's hear it.
It's gonna be a hockey trade with 2 Eastern.
A 1-for-1,
teams.
good old classic.
It could be a 1-for-1 in theory, but you look at Carolina and what they need, and I think what they need is a number 1 goaltender. You look at a team like Boston. Boston could really use a top 6 center, let alone a top line center, and another check. Who's not to say there's a world where Marty Necas gets traded for Linus Ullmark?
That's pretty good.
I would think they want to trade Ullmark out west if they trade him, but getting a top line center like Necas to go play with Pasternak for the next 6 or 7 years, and they already have that chemistry with him and Zacha. Oof. Then you can knock Zacha down to a 2C where he's way more comfortable. I think that can make a lot of sense for both teams.
Erik Karlsson gets traded again to a contending team.
Let's go! Extra chaos.
I don't know who would trade for Erik. Where would Erik Karlsson even want to go? Because I still think he has a full move. Does he even want to move? But
no, I don't think he wants to move again. But also, let's get crazy, like Detroit or some shit.
Carlson,
put him and Sider on the right side for the next decade, or not decade, for 4 years. It'd be solid.
Simon Edvinsson, here's your partner. Yeah, I don't think at this point Carlson wants to move, but I also think there's a reality where Kyle Dubas is I want to get a first round pick, maybe not a first round pick, but I want to reload our prospect pipeline. If we can retain salary on you and trade you somewhere to a contending team,
the brain is braining. It's not a contender, but the crack house.
Kraken would be cool for.
Dude, they need a star player, and who better to get the best out of those forwards than Erik Karlsson slinging them the puck? Wow, what did he have? What was Erik Karlsson's stats last year? Because he was actually healthy, if I recall correctly, which is good. He played a full 82 last year. Oh, no shit. 11 goals, 45 assists. He's still a hell of a hockey player.
Pretty good. It's not 100.
And he played a full 82, man.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is to get out of Erik Karlsson? Trade him now if you can. But knowing Dubas, he's just going to run it back.
Yeah.
Go sign another bottom 6 forward who can't shoot, and then expect greatness. Erik Karlsson's played 1,000 NHL games, by the way.
Yeah, he's been around a while.
Dude, it's just crazy because he had 101 last year. He had a 50-point drop-off almost.
But he's still 50
points.
Yeah.
56 points. What would be a career year for most defensemen?
It's kind of like the Jonathan Hubert. Oh, I think Huberdeau is worse because he's a 4, but it's
way worse. Yeah, I think it was way worse. Going from 117 to 40-something. Yeah.
Cut in half. Cut in half, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, for Karlsson. I would love Karlsson in Chicago, but I don't think that would ever be a thing.
We just don't have room.
No.
What are you going to give him, Connor Murphy?
Maybe.
Karlsson, Seth Jones is the most NHL 24 hot ass defense ever.
Real.
Go ahead and get
2015 me would be
dude, 2024 me would be losing it. I got a Karlsson jersey so fast. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but
that's 60.
Oh, I would do a Murphy and
Murphy pick 20.
I would do that for Karlsson if you get him a little bit retained too.
Okay, get him at 7. Get him at 8 mil.
Hell yeah.
Game. We have the cap. Fuck it.
Oh, yeah. We could take his full
good
cap
leadership
on
for the young defenseman. You want to talk about getting the most out of Kevin Korchinski? He's sticking with Erik Karlsson for a couple years. Yeah. Oh, you want to learn how to be a good offensive defenseman? We'll learn from the guy who won 3 Norrises doing it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be a fun move. That would be a fun move.
Yeah, and almost carried his team to Stanley Cup final on one leg. Like, yeah, there's so many like I've just been like I was even looking at the Canucks, and I'm like, they need to sign. I think they only have like a couple defensemen that are under contract for next season. They like, I think they have 20 million in cap space.
Still got to sign Hronek.
Yeah, like Connor Garland, man, this has got him. The
Third time's
Blackhawks
a
would
charm.
make so much sense. Yeah, like. It feels like with the Canucks, there were so many rumors about them making trades. Like I think JT Miller to Pittsburgh was a thing. Like there was Elias Pettersson to Carolina rumors. Like I, yeah,
Give me
I just
Dakota Joshua or give me death, honestly.
I'm pretty sure he's a UFA. Well, I would love the
Yes,
Hawks to
he
go get
is.
him
I'd give him
UFA.
I'd give him 3.5 times 3. I don't give a shit. We have the money for it.
Sam
And
Lafferty
that
is
guy
also a
plays that.
UFA.
Dude, you're telling me we could have a shutdown line with Joshua and Dickinson? And first of all, it's double Canucks, so fuck you.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Second of all,
bring Lafferty
second
back.
of all, they're both really good defensively. So it's just like you could have the and like let's say we keep Joey Anderson. That's your fucking shutdown line now. Like you're set. That's your third or fourth line.
Yeah.
And then you can have a legit high scoring top six because you know you have that shutdown line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Joshua is going to be extremely affordable. I would think Vancouver tries to keep him because he had great chemistry on that team. But also, like, that's a luxury they can't afford. Straight up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Joshua should be on Davidson's radar regardless. That's a big forward that can play both ways and is just a pain in the ass in front of the net, which is something this team desperately needs.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to have these like under 6 foot speedy centers. Like imagine throwing Joshua with Nazar for a couple shifts and just be like, yeah, go to the front of the net and just let Nazar go crazy.
I still think Jake DeBrusk is gonna like.
Why not both?
Perfect Hawk. Well, yeah, why not both? I mean,
that's literally what I'm talking about. There's your two forward pickups.
Joshua,
it cost you $8 million.
Yeah, Joshua, Nazar, and DeBrusk.
Sign me the fuck up, baby. Actually, no. I would put Joshua with Bedard just for lulz, and then put Hall, Nazar, DeBrusk, all nang, all the time. Yeah, Hall and Nazar better be glued together next year. Like that matchup is a match made in heaven with that speed. Holy smokes! Especially if Hall doesn't lose a step off this knee injury, which I hope he doesn't.
No, either. Yeah. Well, they need a backup goalie for Peter Mrazek. They need
Anthony Stolarz. Come on down.
I would.
In reality, it's Scott Wedgwood.
I mean,
in reality, it's Arvid Soderblom again, and we're all going to roll our eyes.
I don't,
especially with the way Ben Pope was talking.
Man, I really hope for their sake and everyone else's sake that they don't.
Hey, that just if it is Soderblom, no, that gives me so much more faith we're seeing Comesso next year. Then,
yeah,
or Stauber.
Yeah, I was gonna say
think Stauber could get a legit look next year, especially if Soderblom's going to be an 870 or whatever again. Like you can't have that. You just can't.
No, you can't. You can't put him through that either. Like he didn't help himself, but the team in front of him didn't do any favor. Like it was just a bad toxic relationship over there almost. But
for sure.
Yeah, you need a defensive partner for Korchinski, and there's going to be that out there. I don't know if they get Pesci. I don't even know if they get Tana, but yeah, Jalen Chatfield would be perfect.
Chatfield's the guy. That seems like a Davidson guy right there. A
couple
other ones.
Fairly young too. Like he's 27, 28. Like you could
27.
I don't know if they go long, but like they could give him 3 or 4 years and not.
I'd give him 3 years.
Horrible.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
And by the time that feels up, you'll have guys like Renzel who are ready to rock. I think that works out perfectly.
Yeah.
And they have the luxury to be able to pay a third pairing defenseman 3.5 times 3 or something. Like give him the Carson Soucy contract straight up. Like, that's what I would do. Sean Walker's another one I think could be extremely interesting. Put him with Korchinski. That could be a hell of a pairing, I think. Just a two-way pairing. There's going to be options out there on the right side.
Yeah.
Hell, there might even be options that we're not even thinking about. Like, who knows? Maybe Davidson's like, let's get Brandon Montour and just make the right side extremely nasty.
I would love him so much, but
because Montour can't find a contract, and we'll just overpay him for a year. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. They're going to be options. That's basically what I'm saying. Like, I'm less worried about the right-handed defenseman spot that we need to fill. I'm more concerned about how Davidson's going to fill that top 6 forward slot because he needs at least one.
You need a winger and you need like a middle 6 center.
Bingo. And it'll be very interesting to see how he fills those roles. because I like the way he looks in free agency. He clearly looks for skilled players in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
It's just which skilled players is he going to gravitate towards come July 1st?
I would give Brandon Montour the contract that Orlov got. I think it was 2 years, like 7.75. I would totally do that. Just let Montour run the first power play unless Korchinski takes that over, and just let him get like 60, 70 points playing with Bedard, and then let him walk to free agency or whatever, and then he can get his payday when the cap's gone up.
Have him as a mega rental.
Yes. And then forwards, like if they can get two wingers, like we brought up Joshua and DeBrusque, and then like a middle six guy. I would go after Victor Arvidsson too. Like they're not gonna go after
Victor Arvidsson's right up that alley for sure. Health concerns are the only thing that worries me with Arvidsson. Mm-hmm. But Tara Biden's another one that would be great. I think
I would love him to come back. I don't see it happening.
Come home, my sweet prince. I mean, there's obviously like the big fish out there. Like if one of Marchessault or Stevenson's out there, I'm throwing money on.
Oh yeah, I'd be surprised if they didn't go after Stevenson because he fits everything that the Blackhawks like. He's Kyle Davidson, player made in a lab, pretty much.
For sure, 100%, and we can give him the money he's looking for.
Yeah,
the term is the thing that concerns me, but Matt Duchene, I think, would be another fun one if he wants money instead of, but like he's getting this close to a cup, and if they don't win, he's going to be cup chasing. But there's going to be options out there. I can't stress it enough. It's just I really want to know what options Davidson's going to look at. I don't want him to look at this roster right now and be like, we don't really need to add to the forward core because that's bullshit. You do need to add to the forward core because clearly this team is one injury away from not being able to score more than 2 goals a game.
And we saw that last year.
Bingo. And you don't want to be in that situation again, especially now that the kids are coming into the roster.
Mm-hmm. And granted,
get your JVR, get your Tyler Bozak. Like, I'm so fucking serious.
And granted, like that was a crazy. Like that team with injury luck was crazy unlucky. But you gotta take the stance of like, oh, it's probably not going to happen again. But you gotta prepare for the worst. You gotta give this team more depth and more
plans.
Top end time. Yeah, exactly.
What did Ben Pope say? Like he wants it. It should be to where Taylor Radish doesn't have a locked playoff spot or locked spot on the roster next year.
He shouldn't be on the team next year. But
like. And I have faith in Davidson that he'll figure that out. It's just which pieces he thinks fits in this puzzle. And if they're immediate pieces or if they're just stopgap pieces.
And I also wonder, like, if they go Lev Shunov number 2, like, I still think. Yeah, I was gonna say I still think like they're lacking. Like, I love Nazar and more, but like I still think they need like a guy who's closer to Bedard and Tier. Like, who knows? Maybe Nazar and both more could be those guys. But like, if they pick Demidov number 2, like he's closer to Bedard. But if you go Levshunov number 2, which is totally understandable, like that's a guy who's gonna be a top pairing guy, ran shot. Like, I don't know if the Blackhawks do it this way, but a lot of the times at the draft, like teams just look at it as assets. Like, yeah, maybe he's not the best. Like, he won't have the highest ceiling, but it's a right-handed shot defenseman. Like, a lot of teams are looking for that. But yeah, if they go Levshunov number 2, I think they gotta trade that 20th pick and maybe a bit more. Like they still have 3 seconds. They have a first and second next year. Like they have picks to play around with and to make trades and get like a top 6 guy.
Like I'm so serious. Like you got to, because this forward, like at least from what I'm looking at, the top end forwards will be gone by pick like 12. And then you're getting to another tier where it's probably middle 6 forwards down the line. Like obviously there's going to be like your Wyatt Johnstons in this class, and that's like someone who gets picked in the 20s and goes crazy. But like, I don't know, man. You need guaranteed hits right now, especially with Bedard.
Yeah.
And if you're telling me you could trade pick 20 for Marty Necas or Trevor Zegras,
do it. Do it in a heartbeat.
Just do it.
Just from what I'm hearing from the draft, like it really drops off out like side the top 15, and like maybe there's a scenario where like a Cole Eiserman drops and you can get him like in the mid-teens. Maybe you trade up a few picks if you do that. But yeah, like if it's at 20 and there's not really anyone there with high upside, and again, like it's the draft, like it's such a big crapshoot. But I mean, trading pick 20, like the difference between 20 and like the picks that they have in the second round, like especially this year, it's not going to be that big of a gap, especially compared to last year when like Oliver Moore fell to 19. But yeah, their defense, they could be fine without drafting Lev Shunov, but like they needed. We said this, they need Connor Bedard's Robin to his Batman and
Facts.
Davidoff's that. But
Facts,
also, I could
facts,
totally get
facts.
why they would want to get Lev Shunov because I'm pretty sure they've scouted him a lot, him being in college. And granted, like it's like they can't really go to Russia, I don't think, but like they still can look at like tape online and stuff of him. Like they probably know. So I don't know. There's still a month to debate that, but I do want them to go after Demidov.
Yee. I'm in the same boat. And if they go let Shinnoff, trade for a forward. Because
Yeah.
I know
Mhm.
2025 is deep, but Bedard needs someone, man. Philip
Yeah.
Kurashev's not enough. It's nothing against Kurashev.
No. I mean, hell, you could get like a Nichash and keep Kurashev with Bedard and him, but Kurashev alone and like a guy who's maybe like a third liner, like you can't do that again. Can't put Taylor Rash there, and all with all due respect to Nick Foligno, you can't put him there either.
For sure. I don't think
Yeah,
you
like
can.
ideally when this team is, in its cup contending window, like Oliver Moore and Frank Nays are like second line guys. And then Connor Bedard, obviously your number one center. I mean, you got the easy part filled out, but then you need at least one more winger there with Demidov. And I mean, you can't like rarely do teams just stack all their three best players on one line unless you're the Oilers, and that works out obviously. But like usually you have kind of more like of a complimentary kind of guy who kind of just goes in there, gets the puck, knows their role, but doesn't hog the puck, gets it to those two guys. So yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to add. I forgot that was the question that Jacob asked.
Mm-hmm.
No, we were really far with that.
That's about it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to watch the Easter Conference Final.
Hell yeah. Before we wrap it up, I just want to say rest in peace to Darren Detition, man. It's been a rough month and a bit for Canadian sports broadcasting. Obviously, Bob Cole, we talked about him in last show or the show before that. Oh, baby! Like, most iconic sports Canadian announcer of all time. And then Darren Detition was like my childhood watching Sports Center on TV, and just like I never heard a bad thing about him. He just seemed like such like a low key, like positive guy. Like I always the thing with him is like how he would say things like on TV. Like he'd be like talking about baseball. It's like bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs, hits, bam, grand slam, right dead, 50 center field. We got ourselves a tie game. Like that's how he was. Like just the way it was like he was almost like a cartoon character, but like in the best possible way. So it sucks that he's gone.
Yeah, he's the voice of a generation.
Yeah, and I always the clip. There's this fucking clip. It's a while back where they're doing like the trade deadline show on TSN. This is when they still have Pierre McGuire, and Pierre McGuire is just standing so closely to him. And then I think they were Darren Detition, like they were talking about Hal Gill, and he's like, Hal Gill, he's a defenseman with a long stick. And then Pierre McGuire's like, you're an announcer with a long stick from time to time. And then Darren Detition's like, yeah, big mouth. And like they're just standing so close together. Like I always think of that clip, but yeah, that's all I got. I just wanted to give a shout out to him because like I never heard a bad thing. Just seemed like such a great person. Like everyone from coast to coast in Canada knew who he was. Dude, my parents even knew who he was. So, like that's how much of a big impact like
he's an icon.
he had. Mm-hmm.
Canadian
So I just
icon.
wanted to end the podcast off on that.
For sure. Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Hell of a career.
Sorry.
It's like we lose one of him and then we gain, a Paul Bissonnette or a John Butcher-Gross. God, just praise the good media members while they're still here. That's all I'm gonna say.
For real. All that being said, make up Bob Wishijan the number one play-by-play.
Please, oh my God, please.
The fact he's not even doing games anymore, like
don't get me started, dude. Sean McDonough stinks. Like he needs to stick to college football. It's enough. Like put Ray Ferraro and Emily Kaplan and Ryan Callahan with Precision, and you have a great team at ESPN.
I really like Ryan Callahan too.
Yeah, Callahan's great at color commentating, and But like TNT, they got like 3 different crews they can use. Like that's the crazy part. And Monaco's not bad either for ESPN.
Yeah.
He did a bit of the Oilers. Was it the Oilers series or the Star? I think it was the Star series this last
Yeah,
series.
I like him. Same with
He
Brendan
should have been the
Burke.
Hawks announcer.
Alex,
We're not going to talk about that.
That's a thing that might happen because aren't they switching like TV stations like Chicago sports right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to get some new channel next year. I think it's still like it's just not going to be NBC Sports anymore. That's all I know.
Yeah.
They're going to
I
have
don't
the
know
same crew though, like Panger and all them, which is good. But you know, Foster's. We're going on year 3 now. You better start getting good at this.
like I can't imagine how tough of a job that must be to like go.
Oh, it's a very tough job. It's like Carlton McQuinville, except for announcing. You're replacing Pat Foley, who is an all-time great in Chicago radio or Chicago TV.
Yeah.
It's not an easy task, but also like they could have picked better people, and Alex Foss was just available. He still is. And he's probably gonna go to Boston now. Oh well.
I mean, I love Darren Pang. I love his energy. Like
Panger's great.
He's one of those guys where you just never hear a bad thing about him. And he's just always in such a good mood. And yeah, like I think I'm willing to give Foster's a chance, but also like,
clock's ticking.
like I still think Alex Foster is available. I think Mike Monaco doesn't have like a full-time gig. So like, yeah,
fucking get Bob decision.
For real, I would.
Well, no, Forsland didn't get renewed by the Kraken, so
did he not?
Forsland's available too.
What the? Oh my god, Forsland and Darren Pang, fucking sign me up, dude.
I'm firing Rosters, and it's nothing against him. He can go do radio or something.
Yeah, and yeah, it's one of those jobs. It's like head coaching. Like you gotta. Well, not even like head coach, but like just like any job. Like if you're doing stand up, like you're gonna bomb at most of your first sets. Like you gotta hone your craft. You gotta workshop it. Like I still like down the line, he could probably be a fine announcer, but yeah, just right now, there's not anything where I'm like, yeah, you could be the guy.
Yeah. So remember that hot take I was talking about earlier? I think a top 5 pick is definitely getting moved. Apparently, Columbus is locking in. Like the rumor from Prodman is that Columbus really likes T.J. Gidla, and you can take T.J. Gidla 4th, but that's definitely a guy you can take 7 or 8. So another interesting move for sure. Yeah, I mean, T.J. would be great on with Fantilli. Don't get me wrong, but like,
I think they should pick Lundstrom. Like Lundstrom, Fantilli as your 1-2 punch.
Dude, oh man.
I read that mock draft today. I'm not really a Corey Pronman fan because it feels like whenever I read his stuff, he's very like, I don't want to say negative, but like he's kind of condescending with the players. They always like, yeah, they do this well, but they're not good at this. Whereas I love reading guys like Scott Wheeler or really anyone like Mitch Brown, Chris Peters, because they're always like, yeah, but they do this so well, and because of this, that, and the like, they always try to highlight that. Whereas Corey Pronman, it just feels like he's kind of more like pessimistic, negative about the players, where he's like, yeah, they're okay, but yeah, they don't do this. They're not going to be that great. And I don't care for that with prospects.
Yeah, he also predicted that Levchinov falls to 5, and that's just not going to fucking happen. So
no, he is not getting outside the top 3. Like if the Blackhawks don't pick Levchinov, the Ducks are 100% taking him.
Yep. It's there's no other way around it. Like you're telling me Levchinov isn't the perfect right-handed defenseman for a guy like Zellweger and Mitnikov. Give me a break.
Yeah, like your center core is fucking McTavish, Cutter Gauthier. I feel like I'm missing someone.
Leo Carlson.
Leo Carlson, and it's like, oh, your defense, like that's fucking ridiculous, dude. Oh my god.
Like Dostal can keep going. They're going to be in a good spot going forward.
Yeah,
for sure. And after the next 2 drafts, I feel like the Hawks will be in a similar position because they were in a position where they could trade Jamie Drysdale for Cutter Gauthier, which not a lot of teams are in a position to do.
No. Yeah, let's wrap this up. Like I wanted to do a mock draft this episode. We could do that another time. Like I feel like I was thinking about like it would be nice to do, but I still need to do a little bit more research, especially if we're to do like top 20.
We can do it next week.
So yeah, we'll do that next podcast episode. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast platform, give us a 5-star rating, give us a review. That helps us out. And we were watching our beautiful faces on YouTube. hit the subscribe button, hit on the notification bell so you don't miss on any new content. Also hit the like button, smash that like button, leave us some
Ring
nice
that
comments.
bell.
Ring that bell. Yes, hell yeah. All right, yeah. Thank you all for tuning in and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out, y'all.